Ah.
Kiss Killers, which was a compilation album. Yeah, look, and he actually has a Killer shirt t-shirt.
I put a Kiss shirt on again. It's probably been a few episodes.
Yeah.
I need to buy more. Send shirts. Send shirts. Oh, we're not that big. We can't say. I can't get free shit.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Kiss Killers was a compilation released in 1982. Not in America though. This is only available cassette too. Never. Okay. Do you have the 8-track? Did it ever come out on 8-track? That's a good question.
Ooh.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, this did not come out in America. This is import only. And the reason for its release is because Phonogram, who was the parent company of Kiss's label Casablanca Records, wanted Kiss to kind of get back more to their rockin' roots and show people that after the disaster, I put that in quotes because we love it, but
yeah,
after the disastrous Elder album, they wanted to, hey, Kiss, show your fans you still rock.
Yeah.
And they did. They recorded 4 new songs for this record, and we're going to highlight those 4 songs here in a second. Mm-hmm. But so, Peter, this came out in June 82.
Yeah.
They recorded these 4 songs in May 82. That would not happen these days. You know what I mean? That would not happen these days.
Yeah, recorded record plant and Michael James Jackson. So although they are kind of poppy tunes, to me, Down on Your Knees and Partners in Crime lean on the poppier side. Down on Your Knees being a little, maybe a bit heavier. But the way they're recorded, everything Michael James Jackson did for them sounds great. And it's nice and heavy on the drums side of things. And these got nice, thick, good drum sounds. Maybe they're not really as polished as Creatures, but who's ever mixing the album is really going to give its overall sound, So.
Yeah. And this was kind of Michael James Jackson's test run with the band. So this was the first time they worked with him.
Yeah,
and
true.
They liked what they heard and the way they worked with him and brought him in to do the next album, Creatures of the Night.
Japanese.
Yeah, he's got the Japanese import here. The track listing is a bit different.
I don't have the Obi. I need the Obi. It's got a couple songs added.
Yeah, it's got, and this is kind of strange. It's got Escape from the Island of all songs.
Yeah.
From the Elder, of course. And then it also has Shandy on it as well, which, of course, in Australia was a huge hit. So again, it's a compilation album. Okay, so besides the 4 new songs, Cold Gin, Love Gun, Shout Out Loud, Sure Know Something, Detroit Rock City, God of Thunder, I Was Made for Loving You, and Rock and Roll All Night, the live version.
They're still pumping the recent releases, though. They're pumping the Elder here.
Yeah.
And Unmasked.
Yeah. It's a cool little insert there.
Yeah.
For Japanese only.
Oh, man, these are awesome.
Yeah.
All the Japanese stuff.
And another reason why it wasn't released in America is because Kiss already had double platinum out, and there were live albums with these songs on them. So, it just would have been oversaturation, I guess. So,
what version is this? Is this Netherlands? What is this? What is it looking like here? So this is Norway or something. And the original version I had, ironically, looked like that with the what are known as the European S's these days, although not all of Europe necessarily needed those S's, but...
because clearly these are Nazi S's. I mean, clearly.
Well, yeah.
They had to change it for...
It just reminds some people of it too much, I suppose, but...
Yeah.
So now the 2 versions I have on vinyl, are the original version I had was the West German version, and it definitely had the cool different S's, and I just remember it was just a high gloss cover. Man, I love it. I love it. It was one of my times where I sold my vinyl. This is like maybe real late 80s, and I'm like, I'm going CD. I've got to go CD. Vinyl sucks. I did that back and forth a couple times, and but that was in my first batch of records that I sold. My first 500 or 600 records I ever bought, I sold them. Most of them I sold. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see it with the normal. For me, it took years to ever even see it with the normal S's. So now this is kind of weird to me. I'm having a hard time finding the original vinyl with those S's.
Yeah. And the vinyl I have has the non-Nazi S's as well.
And this CD version here does not have the extra 2 tracks.
Right.
Yeah.
So it came out in June '82, and it was kind of like filling the gap between the Elder and Creatures.
Show that we're gonna rock.
Yeah, and sure enough, they did with the next album. But for now, we get 4 brand new Kiss songs, and of course, us Americans had to find this in the import section at your local Tower Records or wherever you shopped.
Budget tapes and records for me.
Really?
Piano.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Shout out to Floyd.
Yep. We got to shout out to somebody. That's how we get people to watch.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Anyway, so the 4 new songs.
Yeah, I love these. I love these 4 songs.
They're good
I
songs.
really love these 4 songs.
What's the first one up?
So the first one up is "Legend Tonight." Right?
Yeah, it was taken from a title, actually, a Gene song title. I'm a Legend Tonight. By the way, the 4 new songs on here, all Paul. So I don't know what that says.
We don't necessarily even hear other Kiss members in the background vocals. Really.
Maybe a little bit on Down on Your Knees with Eric. But yeah, so the first song, sung by Paul, Gene, it was a Gene song title, according to a Julian Gill book.
They always borrow stuff back and forth.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do. So, what do you think of I'm a Legend Tonight?
I love it. Absolutely love it. What a great starter. Either that, if they're going to start this album, either that or Nowhere to Run. We'll get to that later, but those 2 songs are killer. And I'm a Legend Tonight, I think it's a great start for the album.
Yeah, and we should point out something, if you didn't know, although he is on the cover, Ace is not on this record. Well, he's on, obviously, the compilation stuff. But he's not on the brand new songs. They were between guitar players at the time. They hadn't met a guy named Vinnie Vincent quite yet. They were about to. Their life was about to change, for better or for worse.
For both, I guess.
Yeah.
And Barry Levine. It's a Barry Levine picture.
Levine, yeah.
Did a lot of good classic Kiss stuff.
So being between Kiss guitar players, lead guitarists, who are they going to choose?
Kulick.
Bob Kulick came to help out, not Bruce Kulick, his brother
And he's
Bob.
killer on this album.
Yeah. He's
great, man.
He of course ghost guitar player on Alive 2, Side 4. He was Paul's lead guitar player on his solo album.
He's just great. His tone, you can see why they used him all the time. He could fit into the music really well, but just as a player, he could probably fit into just about anything. His tone and his sense of phrasing, his vibrato, the way when he has that vibrato where he is one of those guys that has total control over it, Ace's thing, when people talk about it sometimes, he had a varied speed of vibrato. He'll go, or he'll do it to the tempo of the song. Very expressive with his speeds of his vibrato. It's like a known thing with Ace. But Bob Kulick's one of those guys. He can make his vibrato sing for sure,
Very good guitar player.
Yeah.
Technically, obviously, a better guitar player than Ace. Ace's whole thing is his feel and even his, for lack of a better term, sloppiness.
Yeah.
It's what makes Ace Ace.
Paul has said it. He had a Jimmy Page thing.
Yes, and if you don't think Jimmy Page is sloppy, then there's certain bootlegs you haven't listened to. Because he could be very sloppy.
Well, that was his brain on drugs probably too.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, Jimmy Page is like my favorite guitar player of all
Yeah.
time. He's incredible. But yeah, so I'm a Legend Tonight. First time you hear Bruce Kulick on guitar.
Bob Kulick.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Easy mistake.
And it's just a straight rocker.
Yeah.
Really, really great feel all the way to the end. But it's a straight rocker.
Yeah. Which is just what they needed to start the album out with.
And for me, when I hear it, I've always, in my mind, when I hear the chorus, I'm always hear that, in the chorus, the legend, it sounds just like some kind of John Lennon background vocal,
Oh,
or
okay.
George
Yeah.
maybe, you know,
Yeah.
that descending thing. It sounds really dark.
Yeah.
Legend. It's very Beatley. It's maybe
Okay.
one of the more Beatley things they've done.
Okay. Right on. I'm a Legend tonight. Next would be Down on Your Knees. Wait. Oh, look. Oh, my God. Look.
Whoa.
We just noticed this album calls it Down on My Knees.
Oh my
And this
gosh.
one he's holding is Down on Your Knees. Even here it says Down on My Knees.
Down on my knees.
The song's called Down on Your Knees.
Down on your knees.
That's what he sings anyway.
Oh. Let's check
let's
it
pull
out.
out the cassettes.
Down on your knees.
It's your knees.
Down on your
It's
knees.
just wrong. Maybe this is, what if this was just printed wrong for this copy?
Wow. Look at that unlucky guy. What's his name again?
Tony
Hume.
Hume. We have your Killers album and we're
Yeah,
keeping it.
look at that. Isn't it cool when you get an awesome collectible album and it's got some guy's name just scratched all over the front?
Who gets
I mean,
Killers?
I really do
besides
like it,
to write
actually,
their name on it? And he had it hanging up or something too, because
Oh, that's a
is that cut out?
although here's a hole. It probably was it was on someone's wall, pinholes. But over here that's a cutout bit stamp.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, Down on My Knees on this album, Down on Your Knees on that album. But Down on Your Knees.
Notice Jason has the down on my knees and I have the down on your knees.
There's no correlation there. But I actually really like this song. It's nice, kind of upbeat. The drums at the beginning remind me of like a speeded up Do You Love Me kind of beat.
Yeah.
Nice guitar riff comes right in. Paul's singing is, he's really excited in this song.
You can tell he's maybe almost a little like, let's kick these songs out quick, and he's just kind of vengeful, and I don't know,
He sounds happy to be rocking.
he's just rocking, yeah.
Yeah. But I like it. It's catchy, especially the chorus. Definitely, I think I hear a lot of Eric in the chorus with the "She's All Right" part. But yeah,
She's all the riff. It's got a lot of space over that beat, and that bass line's kind of walking around, moving around a bit. It's really cool to hear that bass kind of exploring beneath the riff a bit.
yeah. And how cool is this? This song was co-written. Well, it was written by Paul, Michael Japp, and Brian Adams. But speaking of Michael Japp, this guy co-wrote. Think of these songs, people. "Move On," "Ain't Quite Right," "Take Me Away Together as One," the Carmine song. This, "Down on Your Knees," and "Saint and Sinner." That's a pretty good little group of songs to be involved
that's a
with.
good album.
Yeah. So, yeah, co-written with Michael Japp, who wrote a lot with the Babies, and John Wade as well. But yeah, "Down Your Knees."
I didn't know that.
"Down Your Knees," great song.
We have a Michael Japp spelled the same in Tacoma. He's
Really?
a keyboard player.
Okay.
And like say
Spelled the same, Mikeo.
Mouse. Yeah. I always thought, is that this local guy? You know what I mean? Like,
that'd
what
be
was he
cool.
doing in the 80s? You
Is
know
that
what
the
I
guy
mean?
who co-wrote Saint and Sinner?
Yeah. Anyway, he's a keyboard player, but yeah, I also love that complete stop they do right before the second.
When he says, "Are you ready
Yeah.
to rock?" Yeah, great song. Great song. So that would be the first two songs on side one, and then you have "Cold Gin Love Gun," "Shout Out Loud," and "Sure Know Something."
The rest of it just plays, and you know it, and it's all great stuff. I know I just let it usually play, and you know, it ain't bad, but
Yeah, there's some edits here and there. I mean, Detroit Rock City doesn't have that big intro. Kind of starts when the car's just getting going and the riff starts.
yeah.
But so flip over the record.
And what do you got?
You got a song called "Nowhere to Run."
Yeah.
Starts off side two.
I mean, that is probably my favorite on here.
Oh, it is. It's the best of the new songs.
I wish they had.
Paul would agree with us.
Yeah, I wish they released it as a single. I wish there was a video for it.
Yes, it's that good, people.
I wish there was a whole album based around that song.
Yeah, I wish
mean,
the album was called "Nowhere to Run."
I wish my mom named me. Nowhere to know. I mean, those 4 songs, you know, that could be a side of an album. If there was like, say, 5 more, that could have been a great album.
Oh yeah,
you know.
it's amazing. Kind of reminds me of like it's the perfect song that would be between Unmasked and Creatures. It has kind of unmasked kind of pop quality, but it rocks a bit more. You know, it's a great song. Paul wrote it by himself.
It's
So-
got that killer Bob Kulick solo
Oh, yeah.
where he's really
Yeah.
demonstrating that vibrato where he goes up and like really speaks through his vibrato.
And Paul likes the song. It's his favorite, and he's actually performed it on a cruise acoustically.
And it's really dynamic too because it's got that breakdown ballad
When he
bridge.
sings falsetto.
That bridge, yeah.
Yeah, it's just an amazing performance all the way around from Paul.
And then it busts back in,
Oh, yeah.
you know? And then his vocals on the way out, like, oh my God, his vocals are just killer.
So that is the song. If you're just kind of a, you know, fair weather Kiss fan and you're not familiar with it, as soon as we're done here, you put that song on, Nowhere to Run. You're gonna like it.
Yeah, if you don't have Killers, and because you've heard it's a compilation, and if it's only 4 new songs, it does not matter. To me, it's worth twice as much as the normal album to get those 4 songs. Not just because it's rare and I'm a big Kiss fan, but these 4 songs are badass. So
Yeah, us big Kiss fans, we don't get this album and think, cool, let's put on this version of God of Thunder. No, it's the 4 new songs.
Yeah.
That's the selling point for us.
Yeah.
So after Nowhere to Run is Partners in Crime, another Paul song. They did think highly enough of this song to want to include it on Creatures, because remember, people, Creatures only had 9 songs. So they decided to leave it off, which I'm actually glad they did, because I don't think it would have fit in.
Features is a perfect thing the way it is.
Yeah, and
Of course, it would have been mixed with Creatures, so sonically it would have fit because it would have been all mixed the same. But yeah, mood-wise, it's
kind of a slinky little Paul kind of, I don't know, how would you describe it?
Just sexy Paul rockers.
Yeah.
Sexy Paul rocker.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know, he's going for these straight ahead rockers, but you can tell he's not, he doesn't mind if one of them ends up being a hit, possibly. You know what I mean? Like,
that's always in the back of his mind.
He writes for success, you know?
Definitely. Because as you were saying earlier, he might write like 5 or 6 songs only for an album.
Yeah.
And he really crafts those songs well, whereas Gene will come in with 30 demos. Unfinished.
Some of them he wrote 5 years ago.
Yeah, unfinished.
Just think about, what's that song, Nobody's Perfect, finally made it on, what is it
Sonic
on?
Boom.
Sonic Boom or Monster, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite song on that album, too.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the 4 new songs on Killers, excuse me. And all 4 top-notch songs. I highly recommend, again, you know, don't get this as a compilation. It'll actually kind of disappoint you as a compilation.
Yeah, it's all about those first songs. And
Yeah.
in the 80s, to go in a record store and see this up, you know, see this on the wall or whatever, it was like, whoa, what is that? That was so cool.
I like the fact that they used an elder picture.
Yeah, and it's
cover.
pink. It was just so striking. You know, it was so cool.
Barry Levine, of course.
Yeah.
Photo. Kiss with their short hair. But of course, Ace in the picture, not on the album.
Yeah.
All right, so Kiss Killers, highly recommended. Seek it out in your local import shop. Actually, just punch it up on Amazon. Something will come up.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. I'm Jason the Speeder. We'll talk to you soon.